sauce, my
Yeah.
man.
How's it going?
Uh, Good
It's
on my
recording,
back.
by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my back is killing me today, man. Like, okay, because I was carrying the retina and the 16 inches to get today,
Okay.
and because I was working with notch in the retina, and so and I have to carry the two laptops, so and the Kinect too. So I was carrying a lot of shit today, and so I guess my back, yeah, was really hurting. But otherwise, good. It's nice to talk to you. It seems to me now that we are talking to an audience. Like, thank you for having me here.
Yes.
How are you?
So give an introduction, and then we have time for the speakers. No, I actually had a similar, similar day. Like I also had my computer and this new computer in my
Oh, so yeah,
backpack.
that's different. It's different carrying that one than the Surface, right?
Yeah, I mean, Surface is light, but the other computer is it's not heavy, but you know,
If you're, I mean,
well,
but you were, if you're used to, I mean, I remember literally that you were carrying one of your Surface in a sheet of paper. Is that big? In an A4, A4.
like
So if you
envelope.
compare
Yeah,
carrying an A4 with the this is normal, then I guess you're not used. You have to get used to.
no, but you don't know my new computer that is not. It's
But
like
you
this.
show me like you show me like it's like the Zotac, but
Yes,
you told me like the small version of that Zotac that they have there in Note, no?
yeah, yeah. I mean, that itself is not that heavy, but it comes with a gigantic power
Oh, right.
adapter. Yeah,
Yeah,
just one for mine, but yeah, it's not really fun to carry it around.
yeah. Well,
But
at least
anyway,
if you get attacked by somebody, then you have a
just
powerful weapon. If you get
yeah,
attacked by somebody, you can kill with somebody to do that.
true, and they even electrocute someone. Anyways, yeah,
Uh,
but yeah, things
where are
are
you now?
good.
Are you in at home or where are you?
Yeah, I'm back in Cologne,
Did you move
and
already?
yeah, I'm just moved, and this is like I didn't mean to put the green screen, but I noticed before this, like if I this is like a big window, and if I just keep it like without any, there's no curtain, so weird, and if I just put it like just a window, then it has a reflection and you can see all the rooms, so it's kind of a awkward, so I just put the green screen.
Oh, I just now I put my camera.
Yes,
Um,
that's what I'm
did
saying.
you say it again?
No, that's why I didn't see you at the beginning.
Oh, but then your apartment is like, so then you see people in front, you have neighbors in front or something?
Yeah, it's a bit weird, like this how do you say, like a courtyard, like in the if you
Which
enter.
floor do you live?
It's a ground floor, so
Oh, that's
not
why.
it's not on the main building, but you pass the courtyard and there's like it looks like a garage, and it smells like a garage actually.
Congratulations for your new acquisition.
Yeah, but
Uh,
I just treat it as a kind of half studio, so I mean it's not like a studio, but it's nice to
we have
have
to.
some um, just feeling of the workspace in the garage.
We should convert that space in a studio,
Yeah, or even the gallery or something.
like a gallery. Yeah, it looks like a gallery. Yeah, that actually from here it looks like a white cube.
Exactly. You could just see this way. Yeah. Yeah. Or like if this like windows, well, I mean, it's not facing the street, but if it was like facing the street, we can just make a pop-up gallery.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Be
definitely.
nice.
Super nice. So otherwise, how was it the last session? How
Yes.
because Yeah, because then maybe we can do a catch up. So the last session it was very weird because what happened is like right 5 minutes I was trying to do the setup.
Oh, you're gone.
I'm gonna just do the
Uh,
setup once we start, and then I started moving things like 5 minutes before, and then this thing, it's a heavy thing, it fell directly in the laptop,
oh,
and so then the keyboard is damaged, like the arrow key down. But it just in that moment I was just, it just when it fell, I just like everything at the same time. And but then so and then afterwards I thought like, okay, I mean already right away I will start just trying to, okay, call the Apple Care system and try to find what was the best solution, how bad, what is it, do I have to pay, all these kind of things. But then fast I thought, okay, maybe I should try to do the practice from what am I, because
yeah.
yeah, at some point I think I could slow myself. And I thought like, okay, if I that's the moment actually where I will try to do the practice. And then I didn't want to tell you anything as well,
Mm,
because I thought I will tell you afterwards. But I just want to see. I want to be. I want to basically. I was sharing. It was not different in the sense that, but I think what we do is like we share an intimate space. In a way, it seems like we're kind of like a couple in that space. Like we define a private space that we nourish every week. And so from that point of view as well, uh, I thought at that moment, so I'm just basically sharing without telling you well, but basically it's not different as I see it, in the sense that we while we do the practice within the doing, we share frustrations, because
sure.
sometimes things are working, or I ask you something, or something goes, something happens. So we basically are dealing with the space that we are having for one hour. So from that point of view, I think there was no different, more than, yeah, it was not more different than the I thought I gonna be there, so then we share the space, you know. um I don't know how you experience, but the way how I experienced your interaction for me was very, it I felt it very kind, in the sense that I felt very, it was very nice for me, because then I feel you were doing the thing, but it's like you were kind of checking up, like from time to time, you were kind of
Mm,
like attending sometimes, like what is happening, but with care. I don't know, but maybe that was my interpretation. You were trying to read what is happening. Like, mm, uh, so somehow it seems like without me telling you there is something happening, you kind of catch the no words, and you still following the rules that we have, like the so we do with our setups. But at the same time, you were being very um human, and very extending, without being too much, because it's still within the practice you were checking,
mm,
like,
I see.
uh, I don't know
Well,
how was the experience for you, like the whole experience.
to me, to be honest, I've been like having like big days. I mean, so I think I wanted to also like talk about this, but the following day I did had this performance online, and
That one,
then
the one that you sent me, the
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Um, and then I was like also like back and forth. So but so I want to watch it again, the last practice, but I just remember that how do I say, I was kind of confused because we were kind of really waiting for it, and you're really like yeah, frustrated or pissed off or something, that
Yeah.
it was not happy. And I was like, okay, I don't know. And also like I feel that it's, I don't know if I was like trying to catch up with you, but I remember that I was like really kind of, I do my own stuff, and then like I feel like I left you behind. I mean, it doesn't mean it's good or bad, but just like feels like it's just like so different, so much different, like in terms of like rhythm and how fast
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
progress, and like I was like just trying to do my own stuff, and then like, so
Yeah.
where's Jorge? Like,
Yeah, but I think that that's what I meant, because then for me it's more the, so it it makes sense what my readings, because it's like, so you do, which but then you go, like you kind of, like you go and test, is it and then which is very similar how humans relate, like we, this is a technological setup, like that's the intention that we have. And but then that's very human within the practice, like the whole I mean, the way how I think we manage, I think yeah, I see it very human.
mm,
And then I could say it even more like, to that it translate in between uh expectations and intentions, or actually, so expectations and um it's weird because it's basically, yeah, I think it's very similar to like the when you're trying to talk with somebody, like, for instance, this that I'm trying to say, this that I'm trying to do, that I'm trying to explain something that I cannot articulate. So so then you are listening, but it's like you have to be off, and also off and on constantly, because
yeah.
I'm not finishing basically what I'm
Mm.
trying to say.
But maybe this is like, it's a bit, that's interesting because it sounds like how it works in the practice, because like we're not always like attending to each other. We just like, just say whatever, and or I just think like while you're talking, I just think about something else, and then I just say it because I know that it's recorded, so it's easier
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
not like kind of off synchronized.
yeah, yeah.
And the practice is like that too, and more, I mean, it's probably more significant in the practice because we don't have to do it together in a way.
But yeah, yeah, but that's what I found, that I thought it was so special, is because that's what I meant. Like we both signed this contract some time ago, like months before, and it is a contract that every week we confirm. Like we actually we get better in conceptualizing, and the whole thing, what is going. Um, so we are understanding what we're doing. So it's very business wise, it's like very like we meant business in a way, like we are working at that moment. But because something happens that actually I don't even told you, but then you can feel it, then that business get compromised, in a I don't know if positive. It just I think for me, what I'm trying to say is like what we experience, but something that is the first session that we have, and it's not because the technology was not working. It's just because there was something off. It's something that
Mm.
is not. You know, and in that sense, I think it's completely is different. In that sense, it's like there is certainly a channel of attention. There is a very I
Mm.
felt it how I felt it is like kind, but that's my appreciation, that I felt there is some kindness, there is some kind of like a person who is there, or trying to be there sometimes.
But do you think it's also like related to the fact that it was the first one after we met?
I don't think so. I don't think so. What I thought actually is that I felt very disappointed. I mean, my head at that moment was like, I was trying just to chill, and then I thought at some point, I remember even I opened BDMX, and at some point I said I didn't wanted to use green key. I was like flipping, and then at some point I thought that yeah, because I was pissed off, because I thought, oh, before I knew what I'm gonna do, more or less. I knew basically I have a safe template, something that the last thing that I use. So I thought that I'm just gonna play with this, like then but then it's like proof you can, yeah, you can, that's not working like that, you know. Even if I was working with BDMX, that I can use like videos literally that I can trigger, I cannot count, you cannot count with that. Note if what, not if what we're trying to do is sharing the space, this intimate space of being, knowing each other and having like some this relation, and the working space. I think composing or like pre-thinking the things might work, you know, like having, and let's say I have my set up, and I think, okay, I know the last week work, I'm gonna keep it like this tomorrow. Those things cannot work if when the proposal is in one hand, yeah, to be vulnerable, as in all these technical things that we have been speaking the last weeks, the last months, all this contract of what is the practice in terms of technology, basically, uh, or the elements and all these kind of things that we are trying to, all these arguments, parameters that we are defining in the doing. Um, but on the other hand, it seems clear as well that maybe could be, I see it, maybe it's because we met, could be that that then there is another element as well of the like, there's another element like of trying to communicate, you know, like trying to
Hmm.
catch up without speaking, because now we are speaking, for instance, like, but I don't know how you felt, but for instance, like because I have some certainty closeness with you, then I thought I will is yeah, I think it's then, I think in my head it changes in the sense that we do what we used to do, I guess, but then is in a way then then I have more, we met each other, we met. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
really curious to see what has happened next week, move next time that we do it actually, because
yeah,
that was the first time that we were trying after the note, right?
exactly.
I'm really
And
curious
also
to see
like
what.
I got my new computer and you
Oh
had some issues and like everything was like really off in a way.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I wanted to interrupt, but yeah, yeah. So like I really don't know like how to.
So but how was your, like, maybe let me ask you, how was your doing, because I saw you were doing things, and how was this uh, how was the process, how was, like, how interrupted was it, you know, like how did you felt in terms of time, like did you feel this on off, or what were you feeling in terms of like, what am I doing, am I do something, or what? Yes.
I I don't know. It felt really like not emptiness, but like I feel like there's no like response from you. Like kind of like I'm just like doing doing, and then I don't get any response, and that's why like I have to stop and see what you're doing and try to get what you're doing, because I really feel that like it's not that I'm ignored, but I just don't get any reply, and that's just feels
And did you
weird.
feel did you feel how big was the level of frustration in that sense?
It was not that much of a frustration, I think. I feel it's like also like because that was on Thursday and on Friday I had a performance, the other one. And I kind of I don't want to say this, but like on Thursday our practice was more like a really like a practice that I really wanted to, just to, come back to what I'm doing. And it's not like a rehearsal, but like just to see what I can do.
Yeah.
So in that sense, like I was really like kind of like focused on myself, like what I can do with Hydra, with movements and sound. And in a way, like at first, like I think I assumed that like I don't have to like do something with you in a way. I mean, not that I'm ignoring you, but I don't have to like care too much. And then I go on, and then like you're not there. And so like also like you came late, so I think I already had time to develop. I think that's also didn't really help because um of course I don't prepare before. I don't know what time we started, 9 p.m., let's say. Like I just maybe
I think I came
open,
like 10 minutes after,
yeah,
almost
10
10
or
minutes.
15, I think. And
Yeah.
like so I don't like at 9 p.m. I have tools open. Like I don't start coding that time. I mean, I start from 9 p.m. So but yeah, like because I had 10 minutes, let's say, I just like started develop things because that's like I thought that's the um practice. But actually I was already confused because when you're late you would say that let's start at 9:30, or
Mm.
yeah, you tell me
I'll let you know
if
something. I'll let you know
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like not
Sure.
completely sure if I should start or not.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a very bizarre. Um, but I'm glad actually, to be honest, I'm glad. Like in one hand, like I fixed my laptop. I mean, I fixed the problem now. It just one. It will take 1 hour, and I don't have to pay the whole thing. That's practical thing is solved. So,
Cool.
phew. And but a part of that, I'm glad that it happened because I checked what was partly, to be honest, like the just some snaps. Um, and for me as well, because it was like I'm somebody who I'm very reactive. Like I'm in this, I will be very reactive. Like if something like that happens, I will try to solve it immediately. You know, yeah, will be very reactive. That's part of how my system is. And then I noticed that, and with the years, I'm trying to work on my own health. So then I know it will not make a difference. For instance, if it's 11 p.m., I cannot make a call. This kind. I know in some way after I calm down, I know that is not gonna change. But at that moment, I'm just reactive.
I see.
Um, so then when I was checking for parts of the video, then I thought it was uh it was it was yeah, I was flipping, no, all over the place. And then sometimes I was there at some point, even I was really like even so moving or doing something with from what I was feeling. But then I was glad, yeah, when I checked the video after, and I was seeing actually your reactions for because I was very surprised because I could see that you were going back and forward and in what you were doing, and that was new, like the way how we have that interaction in that moment.
Hmm.
And I found very interesting because it is within a contract, and it's not yeah, it's something that yeah, it was something new. There's something definitely new in that thing. um yeah, it
Yeah,
was something new. So I'm glad that we could be in the space.
of course.
uh
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. And then yeah, then the day after I had a performance. Well, I don't know
How
if I
was yeah
said
how was it for you
performance or
with the
practice.
performance afterwards?
So I had an issue that sound didn't work. I don't
At
know
all?
why.
At all?
Not at all. I mean, I could speak to the computer, but I couldn't make this like sound.
The loop?
The yeah. So it was weird. Like I think, and that day I had a head like bad headache already, like before starting, and like maybe 15 minutes before starting, I start set up things, and then I noticed that Bluetooth is not working on my new computer. So I
What
had
what what
to
what was not working?
Bluetooth for the sound for
Okay.
this, and like it was not like it was totally off, and I cannot turn
Oh.
it on. So
And what time it
I
happened?
like 15 minutes.
before
before it starts. Yeah.
it was something like Drive or something, some installation thing.
Well, it was working before, so that's why I was confused. And then I restarted the computer. It was still not working, and I turned it off the computer, and then turned it on, and then it was back. But I couldn't make the tidal cycles, the sound system working.
Hmm.
And I tried until 1 minute before, but I was like, okay, I just start with without the sound because whatever. It's part of this practice. And also like I was not really I didn't really decide how to do the performance because actually like I thought it's gonna be like the practice that like well we do it, but also like I sometimes do it alone and maybe I just do it like that. But then if I when I told about this performance to someone like a well not like friends and also like someone rather like important like someone from the theater, and he asked me like is it like a lecture performance, and I was like I didn't think about it. um it
That's
could
so I
be.
that it could be. I mean, it could be that what you do is like a lecture performance. It's
Yeah,
completely framed like that.
yeah, so I was like that could be interesting too, and then I was like
Yes, that's true.
but I think so. So at the performance, because of the sound issue, I did talk a little bit of the background, and the sound is not working. So um, I said that, but I didn't really make it into lecture performance because I knew that when I start to like talk, it becomes a lecture, and it can be like it can be um, received as a lecture performance, but for me, it's not a performance anymore because how I speak and how I like project myself is like they are totally different. So two different things. I mean, I speak and I project myself, but that's like how would I say? I need to really like be be myself. It's like I don't know,
Yeah, yeah.
like
I
how I
can.
do a lecture and how I perform is different because when I perform, it's not like it's still I don't know it's still my subjectivity, but it's still yeah, but also like I want to be not myself in a way, like I don't know what I didn't really prepare to think about these things, but
No,
I
no, but
at least
I think partially I relate of that. What you said, I mean, from the time that I share with you in Germany, because it's true. Like, I mean, I met you just sharing this space, and then in the talks, and the talks were just late, just in the talks, and and then it's true that in the way how I perceive you, then it's like you can be almost aggressive in a positive sense, like you're very into the performance. When you're doing the performance, like you're gone sometimes, that you're gone in what you're doing. um and then what in for instance, like when we were in Germany, I thought that you were, when you wanted, no, then you were very articulate and very uh, I don't know, like very composed. In
mm,
like, if they ask you to talk, for the TV or something, you were performing something completely different. Like you were
mm,
very articulating and playing the role that they were proposing you. Very composed. Like, while when you're performing, then you're wild. Then you're just like de-articulate. Like, you don't really, in my experience in what you're doing, like, you I guess you articulate, I guess, but I mean, I don't. I
yeah,
think
yeah, I understand.
you
I
don't. You
mean
don't. You don't.
that's what I
You
wanted
don't
to say.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's I think to me it's actually addressing or articulating something. Maybe it's the same, but it's just totally different ways, and that's why like I don't want to mix them up. Like if I'm prepared to like to feel to becoming, this wild moment or whatever to, actually perform, then I cannot do it in the lecture performance, because that's like on the other side of the spectrum in a way, although they are like both myself and doing myself. So
Uh,
what I want to say is, yeah, so I just, like, before I start the performance on Friday, I just decided that maybe I can talk for like a few minutes, but like I won't talk during the performance, because that will just break the rhythm and,
yeah.
flow. And I think I did talk in the middle. I mean, after like, I don't know, 10 minutes or 15 minutes, because I wanted to fix the sound, but I failed. So I just said, just play whatever music you like and just share it in the chat. So because I won't see the chat, I won't play music. So, just find your find your favorite music that fits to my performance. So I don't know if
I
that was like,
you propose that.
yeah, I said that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you and what did you hear back?
I didn't see the chat. I mean, I did see,
You
but
didn't see the chat? That's a
I did
pity.
see that. I think someone was saying like some names of songs, but I didn't really remember.
Hmm.
I mean, I didn't recognize anyways. So that's that was that. But I enjoyed it. Like when I just decided, not bother with the be bothered with the sound, like playing with Hydra and movements, and so fun. And even like I discovered something that, it's a bit technical, but if you press Control Enter in Hydra, that evaluates the line, right?
Yes.
And if you do Control Shift Enter, that evaluates the whole
The whole thing. The whole
thing.
it will compile the whole thing.
Yeah. So if you have like one line that writes to, let's say, the buffer 0, and the second line also writes to buffer 0, but different effect. And if you move the cursor to the first line and do Control Enter, then it becomes the first line. But if you do Control Shift Enter, then it evaluates the, from the top. So the second line overwrites the first one.
When you do what? When you
So
do
so you have two lines,
yes.
and the cursor is on
Next to
the
each other, next
first
to
one.
each other, like
Yeah,
referring to the same buffer.
yeah. And the cursor
Okay.
is on the first line.
Yeah.
And if you do Control Enter, then it's the first line, because it only evaluates that line. But if you evaluate the whole file, then the second one gets the priority, because
Yeah.
it just goes from the top.
Yeah, because it
So
compiles the thing.
yeah. And I mean, that's simple. I know it. I understand. But then I accidentally found it that, because I have this wireless keyboard, so I was just like holding this and pressing Control Enter and Control Shift Enter while I'm moving, so I can change the effect while I'm moving and not in front of the computer.
Oh,
And that was just fun. Like, I had one effect that shows the real-time camera feed, and then do the other one that freezes myself, but like blends into the background.
wow.
And
But it was because it was overriding the it was overriding and you were not expecting to override.
no, I just found it like accidentally, and then I was like, I just loved it, and I was playing with it for like a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is like, I mean, I think this is really nice thing about, like improvisational performance, because I wouldn't really expect that to happen if everything was set. Um, yeah, but then now I feel that I I'm kind of starting to get interested in making a instrument or something like a controller, because if I had it, in my hand, for example, to switch between effects, then that would be like, it gives more freedom to move. But then at the same time, I'm just thinking like, is that what I want for this practice?
Yeah, but I think that could be different, and that would be interesting from my friend Mateus. You remember I asked you at some point if it was possible in Hydra to work with a MIDI controller. It was because there was somebody who asked me like, "Do you think it's possible?" And then so I just asked you, and then afterwards I didn't ask you because I was just reflecting like, yeah, but Hydra is basically is just code. So even if you find some MIDI, it will have to do every single time compile the whole thing. If it's from MIDI controller, but if it's in somehow if you map that to, yeah, it could be a MIDI controller or a keyboard, the shortcuts, the evaluation commands, then you have the, I mean, it doesn't have to be a MIDI controller, it could be just a keyboard. So it could be a custom made tool that it has just two buttons, three buttons, like the, but they will,
Yeah,
once you press them, they will just generate that uh, number of commands together.
I see. Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
was just like thinking out loud. Yeah, that sounds interesting, no? So
yeah,
that's very specific. That's very specific, no? Like then it's just something very specific, no?
yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting if we can, like change the effects or like even, yeah, like just hack it while we're practicing or something. That would make sense, I think. If it doesn't really make sense if it's, just always triggering the same effects and just, everything is set like that, or you have to compose beforehand. That's, I, well, I don't know.
Maybe what could be interesting is like try to share a space, or maybe we can try one of these sessions to try, how to say that, to then like use a space where we still have our two screens, but maybe we have the we can interact, we can alter the other one's background. Will be that be possible in the new version of how it's called, like the
Lifelab or
collaborative Hydra, how it's called, that one?
Pixel Jam or Flock?
Pixel
Yeah,
Jam.
Flock.
Pixel Jam. Will be that possible to do in the play in that one, in something like that? If you want to use green
Mm,
key,
okay. Yeah,
is that,
like yeah. So you're like, so whatever I write will influence my background and your background.
yeah, yeah. But then the idea still will be to have two compositions, like, because otherwise we're just working in a, because if I understand well, like this Pixel Jam is one third, like it's just something in between you and me. But then my idea will be if it's possible to have this Pixel Jam in you and in me, like somehow, then we can still put uh create a composition like, or with a green key or with the elements that normally we use, but that we have still a possibility to change something. I don't know if it
Hmm.
makes sense.
So Pixel Jam is not available at the moment, and this other guy who's making Flock, yeah, Flock. That
The one that you guys use in the Hydra meeting.
yeah, like it was doing the like four compositions, but I think you can just change the number of screens in that. So probably you can just do one, and also like we can make different rooms. So for example, we make two rooms, and uh, one
In
room is full screen, just one buffer. I mean, one Hydra screen, and you can decide which one to show. Could be something. I don't know.
That's actually, that could be interesting. Like I will say, this is something that I would like to continue maybe next time. This is something that about curatorial processes. We start this slow at the tiny bit, like back in Germany. This talking about the curatorial process with my beautiful stage design for our performance. Um, that I think is interesting. I think it's interesting, and it's so it's actual. So it's very actual to what is happening, It's very practical as well, I think, for like for real to have these skills in what is for in the world that we're living. But on top of all of this, I think could be fun. I think could be fun because already we have been working with other elements. So so then we are used to work in these frameworks, you know, like yeah, could be, I think could be interesting, like to talk, like let's say to try to put a meeting where we talk and try to propose something concrete and
Mm,
then try it one day, like soon after we talk. Because I think this that conversation about curatorial processes, I think that could be interesting. Because now I'm working for my final work as well for the school, and as well I'm working with Seeds, this project. The COVID is back, so like we have to start thinking already, like building, thinking in virtual, semi-virtual, all these kind of things while still working with physical. So all these things, I think that would be
yeah,
nice to talk, like how we see that in the best practice,
I see.
how we see that in the best practices. Yeah, I mean, because a part of like, I think it's still we should keep our best like of the practice, you know, as we do. But I think we should try to find a time to talk a bit of the for this what does it mean, like to propose one practice in another space,
Yeah,
basically that. Well, and what does that mean and why?
yeah. We
Yeah,
can also go back to hubs, the greenhouse, and I hope
yeah,
it's still
like
open.
yeah, I checked the last week and it was still working.
Cool.
It's still working. So so we need to create another stage design, and you call me, I make these beautiful ones in this. Uh, I
You
think
even have the Firefox, the Mozilla.
yeah, yeah, I still have Firefox. Yeah, 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 voila. So there, yeah. So there you go. Uh,
And also,
yeah,
like, we should really also like think about like
oratory.
extending this invitation to someone. Some people could be also interesting. I mean, I don't want to like make it too much work for organization, but maybe just if there's anyone interested to work with who's watching
Like
this video.
to watch, but you mean like to watch the practice, or to be part of the conversation about the curatorial.
Or to be part of the practice, whatever. I don't know. I'm just randomly saying. I mean, not random, but I don't know.
I think I will be up for keeping it open for anybody like to join like a conversations. But then until we don't define a space, let's say for instance, like there is, I think will be completely okay if somebody wants to join the practice, let's say in hubs, because already the space is defined. There is no hierarchy in the way how the screens work, because it will be maybe just another screen. But then for instance in the framework how we have it right now is basically I'm using your images. So if there's a third person that is a bit like, oh, who, um it might be, it might work as well, I might not, I don't know. I think better, I think before starting that, going in that direction, I will said I would like to talk about
Hmm.
what like this, what I mentioned as curatorial processes, like going towards that direction a bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then once we know, okay, let's try this, then sure we can try different things. It could be sessions, like now we have been, so we have best practices, but we can have best practices session hubs, best practices session pixel jam, best practices I don't know, like in the police station. And I don't know. The best practice in the jail. uh,
It sounds really different. Anyways, Yeah.
You have to ask the police, like, can I have my laptop for a second? I have a meeting at 9.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording here because I getting
Uh,
sleepy and okay.
yeah, it's
Wait, how does it work?